hard when you're trying to recover. So that's today's topic. We're gonna get right into it. Triggers are defined as a strong or overwhelming desire to obtain and use your substance of abuse. You know, there was a study done by a scientist called Pavlo. He rang a bell every time he fed a dog. The dog learned to associate the sound of the bell with being fed. His brain learned to build those neural pathways to say, okay, when that bell rings, I get fed. So associating that trigger of the bell with the feeding, and as humans, we're the same way. We're in a car, we're with certain people, we go and pick up drugs, we use drugs. Um, when we're with those people again, when we're trying to be sober, it's going to be hard. You're going to get flashbacks, you're going to get those feelings, the same feelings that you felt when you were using, you know, or, for me, it's certain cars. I own certain cars that I use drugs in. Certain stash spots in the car and the ashtrays, different things like that. So anything could be a trigger. People are a really hard one because sometimes we still have feelings and we still are friends with those the certain people that we used to use with. So it's gonna be very hard. I ran into somebody at the grocery store, and I had to just tell him straight out. Hey man, it's good to see you, but I'm really sorry. I'm having a really hard time right now seeing you. It's bringing up a lot of memories. Good seeing you, but I gotta go. And he was totally understandable. He's totally understanding. So absolutely. So the brain, yeah, it produces a strong, rewarding sensation in the brain, and the brain is programmed to seek out and repeat those rewarding sensations. It remembers every detail, such as who you're with, what you were doing, where you were, how you felt before you use, how you felt after you use. So when we're putting ourselves in these situations where we experience all these triggers, we're going to put our sobriety at risk. And that's something, you really don't want to do. I mean, life is so much more, so much better, off drugs. Your brain isn't foggy. You have dreams and aspirations. You know what you want to do with your life. I mean, who wants to give that up? You don't want to go back. So you don't want to put your sobriety at risk for sure. My triggers. We'll talk about my triggers a little bit. Old friends I used to use with, coworkers, some of my family members. Those are my peoples. Places are certain towns are really hard for me, where I spent a lot of my time wandering the streets, causing trouble, selling drugs, making money to get more drugs, ripping people off in these certain areas and certain parking lots. Parking lots are bad. Certain towns. Every town's got a certain spot where if you go to that town and buy drugs, you know a pull off to use drugs. You know a back road to go to use drugs. So now that you stop using, we're still going to travel by these places that we used to use and sell, and so that's really hard. Um, let's see. So definitely keep trying. Definitely avoid places if you can get somewhere else to your destination without putting yourself in that triggering moment. Do it. You know what I mean? Why put your sobriety at risk? Might as well just take the long way home. Avoid that unnecessary. An unnecessary trigger. You don't risk it. That's what I'm saying. My thing triggers. Holidays are a big one for me. I remember every holiday, getting together with a family. I always had to go find drugs, and I don't know what it was. I guess it was just I couldn't even tell you. I had to have drugs. Holidays, birthdays, gatherings. It started out with smoking weed, and then like I needed to be high on weed before I went, and then when I started switching to coke, and I had to have something else. I had to have heroin or coke or crack to deal with my family. Hate to put it that way, but sometimes you know. My other thing triggers are getting paid. Love that paycheck. When you get that paycheck, your first thing you do is like I'm gonna go spend it. And the first thing I got into this habit where I'd front stuff. I was selling at one point and selling drugs at one point, but I got into this point where I would at this point I wasn't selling drugs. I was fronting them and I was doing them, a lot of them. So I would spend my whole paycheck, and then I'd front, and then I'd go back when I got my paycheck again, and I'd pay for the stuff I'd fronted, and then I'd have a little bit of money left over, and then I'd get more drugs, and then I'd be broke, and then I'd be fronting again, and it was just this vicious cycle where I wasn't paying my bills, I wasn't worrying about fixing my car, I wasn't paying my lights, I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't providing for my family, my daughter, I neglected her, and it was hard. So getting paid was definitely a hard one. I just went and wanted to spend my whole check. It's crazy. I wouldn't even flinch going out and spending $300-400 on drugs. But when I had to go to the store to spend $30 on food, I'd be like, "Oh God, $30! Oh, I could be buying drugs," And it's just how I guess it's just how the brain's programmed. You know what I mean? That's just where I was at the time with my development of my substance abuse and my use and my brain and how damaged it was. I wasn't thinking clearly. I couldn't think. My perspectives were out of whack. I just thought about myself. I was selfish and self-centered and thought about drugs and getting better and instead of putting my daughter first and things I had to do and making goals and ambitions and stuff. Sex. Sex is a big one. Everyone loves getting laid. Everyone loves getting laid on drugs if you're an addict. You know what I mean? Nothing better than staying up on some meth and having some crazy sex or you can't get off all night. Anyway, let's not get into details. I'm just saying. Yeah, so like sex is a trigger for me, and just, the sensations of releasing of an orgasm. I'm not getting into details again, but I am. It's releasing those chemical your brain was like, hey, wasn't there drugs here before? Like, I remember these emotions, but it was with something else. It's a trigger. um, Feelings can be triggers. High stress situations, sadness, boredom, anxiety. I'm feeling anxious. I'm getting triggered right now. I feel like I need to use some heroin, lower my anxiety and come down a little bit. So yeah. All right. Or hearing a song. I was Yeah, even like hearing a song, certain songs that were on the radio back when I was using. I hear them now, and it's like, they're nostalgic, and I like them, but also they're triggering for me because I used to be doing drugs and driving around listening to these songs, and it's crazy. And these songs are like the bell for the dog. I hear the song come on the radio, and my my brain's like, okay, where's the drugs? I hear this song. Where's the drugs? Like the dog. I heard the bell. Where's my food? And it's just how our brains are programmed. I know the dog's anatomy is a little different than humans, but as far as brain functioning and pathways and new neural pathways and receptors, it's similar. So the dog associates the bell with the dog food, like the human would associate the music or the different triggers with their substance abuse. So yeah, in 2016, 64,000 people died of an overdose, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse. Anyway, and heroin and prescription meds made up 60% of those deaths. So realizing we have a problem here, it's time to have an open discussion. It's time to put it on the table. Our cards have been showing for a while. It's just how we're gonna play this hand, you know, and we're gonna do it together. Is the only way we're gonna not defeat, or I don't think it's ever going to be defeated or eradicated, but we can put certain programs and certain steps and certain aspects of this in a structure that makes sense, that's actually going to work, and not this pointless pouring of tax dollars into this abyss of drug abuse that's never going to get better. It hasn't been working, it's not working, let's do something different is all we're trying to accomplish here. Being out in the open and not throwing it under the rug and pretending like it's not there, because it's here. So we want to attack the issue. um, and I read this and I thought this was really cool. Drug and alcohol abuse is rarely the result of a conscious effort to develop an addiction problem. Let me read that again. Drug and alcohol abuse is rarely the result of a conscious effort to develop an addiction problem. I didn't want this. It's not like I said, hey, I'm going to go abuse drugs because I want to develop an addiction problem. No, we have underlying addictions. Uh, We have underlying issues that we don't face. And what happens is we find new ways of burying them. Some people shop, some people drink, some people do drugs, some people gamble, you know, and it's all addicting. It's all, we didn't want to be addicts. It's just what happened. Becoming an addict, it happens overnight in our heads. But in reality, it's progressed and progressed and progressed. But in our heads, it happens overnight. I'm using drugs. I'm having a good time. Life is grand. I can't afford my rent. I'm homeless. My daughter's gone. What the fuck just happened? Oh, I'm an addict. And just realizing you're an addict, admitting it is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. And that's legit. I mean, it's not every day where we put ourselves in these vulnerable situations where we can say, hey, I'm an addict. I do need help. I'm going to seek help and I'm willing to receive help. It's hard. It is putting yourself in that vulnerable spot. It's not an easy thing. I wouldn't wish it on, a lot of people for sure. So I want to talk about next thing is I want to talk about new beginnings recovery coaching. I've made posts on Facebook before about how we're actually officially a nonprofit now. So that's really exciting. Next step is to get our board of directors all set up so we can become tax exempt. So that's really exciting. So we're using New Beginnings as an umbrella corporation to run the Addicts Helping Addicts podcast, and do outreach, recovery coaching, personalized recovery action plans, and it's just been great. We're starting to get clients. We made flyers. It's really cool. Just the steps that are in place that are moving forward. As an addict, I never would have had these goals and ambitions. And now it's amazing looking at what can happen when we put our mind and our effort into other places other than the constant battle and use and just the chase of trying to bury our meaningless existence is what it is. So yeah, I just want to go ahead and read my business plan to you guys, and hopefully you guys in the comment section will give me some feedback. I'd appreciate it. I would like some advice, ideas you guys have, anything like that. I'm all ears, and I'm also looking for one more board member. So if you have, area expertise, give us a ring a jingle. So, business plan for New Beginnings Recovery. Serial summary. New Beginnings Recovery is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing a safe and supportive environment for individuals struggling with addiction. Our mission is to empower recovering addicts to achieve long term recovery and improve their overall well being. And I thought that was a sweet little summary. You know what I mean? We're a nonprofit organization. We want to provide people, the avenues and just, the support and the things necessary they need. Tell us what you need. We're going to have them tell us what you need so we can, make adjustments to your recovery profile and so you have the best possible outcome, for a long term sobriety. So yeah, business description: New Beginnings Recovery offers personalized recovery plans, recovery coaching. Our location, although not affiliated with Narcotics Anonymous, we will be hosting Narcotics Anonymous meetings there, but that's no here, no there. We can't advertise that because it's can't be affiliated with anything. Um, but New Beginnings in the future, down the line, we'll be doing a mobile sponsor program where we have vans where we go to different locations. This the addict calls us up. Hey, I'm having a bad day. I'm struggling. Don't worry, I'm coming. Be there in 40 minutes. All right, where do you want to meet? They come. We have our vans. They can come in the van, in the lounge area in the back. Talk about it. Hey, I'm having a hard time. So it's like an in-person sponsor program. The opposite addiction is connection, and I think that's what we're lacking here in this, in this recovery field right now, is connection. Everything's, just mainstream, just flat, and I think we just need one-on-one person interaction and talking and telling, hey, not just, hey man, I'm having a hard time. You want to talk over the phone? No, hey, look at me eye to eye. I'm having a hard time, man. I'm a human being and I'm struggling. I'm reaching out. I'm drowning here. Can you pull me out of the water? That kind of thing. Really just some really good support. Once we have these things in place, I think, success is the only option from there. So yeah, we let's see, mobile sponsor program. We aim to provide a holistic approach to recovery, addressing physical, emotional, and mental health. And um, our staff will be comprised of all recovering addicts. Let me say that again. Our recovery coaches will be comprised of all recovering addicts to ensure, empathy and understanding for the recovering addict that's coming and seeking help from us. We want to put we've been in that place. We know how vulnerable you are. We've wanted to change and wanted help too, and it is possible, and it can be done, and it will be done again. And let us help you. You know, um, I've said this before. I went to rehab. I'd say about 96% of all the staff at the rehab facility I went to was recovering addicts. And that made it huge because when I told my story, it was their story too. And they understood where I was coming from. They didn't just go, oh, yeah, 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 but you should just quit. You should just stop doing drugs. No, they said, yeah, I know how hard it was. I know how hard it is. I went through that same thing. I lost my daughter. I had to fight for custody to get my daughter back. And as addicts, we forget how similar and how alike we really are as, a human race in general, too. All of our brains are the way we're built and the way we seek outside um, comfort to deal with our everyday life and our hardships for sure. So that's what we're here to do. We want to. I Our staff will be comprised of recovering addicts. Just that much better we can understand and treat the problem. For the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel, is said in Narcotics Anonymous. Our marketing strategy. We're gonna have a big social media presence: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, um, the podcast Addicts Helping Addicts. It mean a lot to me if you guys like, share, and subscribe. Let's blow this up. Let's get this thing going. The more people we reach and the more outreach we can get out there, the more of a difference we can make. The more people we'll attract and more people will want to get help. And the more people that get help, like I got help, turn out close to me or similar to me because we just want to keep helping. And that's the snowball effect. Let's get this freaking ball rolling, shall we? We can do this together. I know we can. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, big social media presence. We're gonna collaborate with local businesses, other organizations such as rehab facilities, getting our information in their doors so they can aftercare treatment. They can send people to us and be like, hey, go see New Beginnings, recovery coaching to help you stay on track. Make sure you're making it to your meetings. Make sure you're doing what it takes, the next possible steps, the next available steps to ensure you're avoiding your triggers and doing the right things so you can maintain a long-term sobriety. Come see us. Is what I'm saying. So we're gonna collaborate with a lot of local businesses, schools. Also merchandise sales is part of our marketing strategy. Um, just inspirational T-shirts, nonprofit bracelets. We're part of the charity. Part of the money, goes to certain outreach programs. In addiction recovery fields. So we can help and give back, and the more money we pour into this, so it's gonna get better eventually, right? It's got to. It's not the government. And yeah, and eventually, like I said, once we get a lot of YouTube subscribers, we can start monetizing. We'll start monetizing Facebook and doing what we have to do, just to get our name out there. And yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm pretty excited. The services we're gonna provide, we're gonna do personalized recovery plans, like I talked about, coaching. We will be hosting any meetings there in the building. By the way, we're looking at places next week. It's very exciting. And we also, like I said before, we also looking for one more person to be on the board of directors. We have, What is that business called? Oh, right here. One of my board of directors is Mike Hewitt. He's a branch manager at Key Bank here in Rutland, and he's really great. The financial advice, the business account he helped me set up, getting us registered with the state, get incorporation, a certificate, so we can be established as a nonprofit. Doing the next step, getting the board of directors. Like he's really great. So yeah, and my family, Michelle, my cousin Michelle, she is on the board. She's been a huge help as well. She helped out. She got us some office supplies. She got us a laptop, printer, and it's helped out so much. Thank you so much, Michelle. Um, so yeah, we're really excited. What was I? Oh, that's our financial projections. I won't talk about those. Monetizations. Oh yeah. So we're gonna be running off grants, applying for grants, and 100% off grants and donations. So the more presence we can get out there, like I said, help us share this stuff so we can keep going. We can monetize and bring in enough, donations and reach enough people with deep pockets so we can keep going. We can continue to pour, give back. That's what this nonprofit's for. Yeah, we can stay afloat, but we can also give back and pour this money and keep pouring it forward, like snowball effect, like I said, and just pour it back into the recovery business and do future things like the mobile sponsor programs. And also, we want to do like an animal sanctuary too for recovering addicts. Kind of like a pit bulls and parolees type thing. But for recovering addicts. Because I know being an addict, I've had rough days, and sometimes you just need a cat to lay with and cry to, and just feel like a piece of shit. And I hate to say it, but hey, it's pretty much what it comes down to. So yeah. So marketing strategy. Let's see. Our success metrics are going to be measured by our number of clients in active recovery. How many of our clients are coming back and saying, "Hey, man, this is really working. Thanks for being there for us," and so we're going to keep that, measure that, and our client retention rate, and our podcast engagement, listens, downloads, subscriptions, subscribers, social media engagement, like, shares, and comments. That's how we're gonna measure our success. So like I said, we really need you guys to like, share, comment, subscribe, talk, engage. Yeah, it's gonna be huge. Our future plans are expanding services. Like I said, are gonna include an animal rescue and therapy. We're gonna open additional facilities to cover a larger area. That's our 5-year goal is to have at least 2 or 3 more businesses open and cover a larger area, so we can really dominate, and cover all these areas and low income areas that are really hitting struggling right now from this addiction problem, this flooding of narcotics and stuff into our streets, into our families and everyday lives. Everybody is touched by addiction. It's either yourself, your family members, your kids, your loved ones, somebody. Everybody is affected in addiction, one form or another. It's almost a fact. Someone knows somebody or is involved directly or indirectly with addiction, and that's what we want to address. We're all a part of it. Let's all do something about it. It's time. So yeah, like I say, we're going to expand our services. We're going to develop a strategic partnership with insurance providers and organizations. We're going to make sure our staffing, is up to date with all our certificates and trainings. They're going to undergo online certifications in recovery coaching in related fields, regular training, workshops on addiction recovery. Just that way we can keep up to date. With the best possible tools and avenues to make sure that we can treat our clients, accordingly and make sure their best possible outcome is in their future. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching this episode. I know it's not our normal episode and it's not as long, so we're working trying to get another co-host. Just long distancing with my friend Kareem didn't work out really, so I don't know what's going on there. So we're looking for another co-host also. So this episode's a little different. The format's a little different. I'm also using a different camera and using my good mics, and I got the laptop set up with the lighting in the background. So yeah, the more I'm doing this, the more, I mean, I'm working my ass off at my regular job. Just got an apartment. We're paying our bills, and all this extra money because I'm working so hard is pouring back into this, into the business, starting a business account. There's money in the business account, and I keep pouring it into upgrades and stuff too. And like I said, Michelle helped us with the computer and printer, and that was a huge help. So that was a financial relief off us. So yeah, any donations, any help, anything like that would be greatly appreciated. We want, like I said, we want to keep going. So we like now that I got the business plan filled out, we're gonna be filling grants out and securing us a nice office so we can take on more clients. We're gonna take on a couple here at the apartment, which we have a couple clients we're working with now. So it's really great. That's really awesome. So just want to thank you, everybody, for the love and support. Thanks for watching this episode of Addicts Helping Addicts, and we'll catch you next time. Remember, it works if you work it, so work it, you're worth it.